Alerts off. There we go. It is Fantabulous Friday. We apologize for running a little bit later because, yes, this naughty boss is still in a Benadryl semi-coma, which is a pain in the butt. We'll talk about that and much, much more. But good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, a.k.a. Coma-driven naughty boss, live with Two
Sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. Yes, Fantabulous Friday, April 20. What's today's date? April 27th, 28th? No, yeah, 28th.
28th, yep.
Because Monday is the first. Okay, wow. How quickly. May is my birthday month. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Excited.
A lot of things, a lot of things happening in May, and but they say April showers bring May flowers, and we've had some showers here in the southeast, very heavy, which we are not complaining because we've needed it. It is another gray day. We had some certain areas got some small hail. I know Texas got hail the size of like pancakes, or a little bit, silver dollar pancakes, but some of them are actually quite big. So maybe the size of a pancake, and depending on how you make your pancakes. But we definitely desperately need the rain, so we are not complaining. I'm hoping tonight, we got some plans. I'm hoping that the rain holds off, but whatever. It's God's way of saying, got kind of freshen up that air. We've been talking about different things that have been going on. We always incorporate what's happening in our world to our health and wellness, because guess what? It impacts us, whether it's stress, whether it's something good that we need to know, whether it's an alert. I've been talking a lot about allergies, which, yes, I do have seasonal allergies, but what I've been experiencing is not a seasonal allergy, which may be the residual. I'm actually having an allergic reaction, which is a little bit different than you can get an allergic reaction, I guess, to a seasonal allergy as well. But if you're prone to it, this allergic reaction has to do with my eyeballs, where they swell, they itch, they drip. And the only thing that can kind of combat when I say crazy itching, like I want to take a knife and scratch my eyeballs off, people. That's not a good feeling, is Benadryl. And I don't like taking Benadryl because I have one of those systems that is very sensitive to any kind of antihistamine or any drug that kind of makes you feel relaxed and loopy. I go into the loopy coma stage, which means I'm not, I don't have the energy. To get up and make my bed is a major feat. I know that sounds bizarro for someone that has as much energy as I do, but I'm to the point now, which I don't know if we chatted about it personally or the podcast. As many of you know, I'm doing Thrive Elite. I'm officially in the 120s. I'm super excited about that. But we talked about how different that product is. It's Thrive Classic with added ingredients to get that fat burn. Well, by accident, I took the wrong one. I took the Classic, but it gave me that extra energy. So I think I may take those just to take them and then do my 3 steps later on in the day when I do my break my fast for intermittent fasting to counteract this Benadryl.
Yes, you know what? And again, I'm really I feel so bad that you're going through that. That kind of really stinks. Hopefully you're on the tail end of that. It's been like a long week for you. Excuse me, as far as that goes. So before we went on live, now I would say I'm the more quieter sister to a certain point.
To a certain point.
To a certain point, yes. I know my sister always razzes me on it, and rightfully so. But I said I want to talk about this one thing, but technically it's actually 2 things that I heard through the grapevine yesterday. And I thought, well, I am going to do, that thing that we call due diligence. I'm going to do my due diligence. And really, I was inquisitive because I wanted to know the why, the how, all that kind of stuff. So this is a PSA, and I will say public service announcement. And I will say that, I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. I really enjoy having those conversations and totally respect people who may reach out and say, hey, I didn't agree with you because this. That's where we have those amazing conversations. So PSA number 1. Yesterday on the GW Parkway into DC, during rush hour, moronic climate activists blocked the highway.
Well,
Now,
I'm going to interject for a second.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think we can agree that activists have their place in
Absolutely.
time, because there's a lot of good subject matters that need activists to kind of get the word out, get people excited about change. It's usually about change.
Right, exactly. And I agree with that 100%. And my next comment was going to be, because I emphasize the word moronic, I 100% agree that any group, any person that feels that they need to protest or gather a group of people to protest, even though I may not agree with you, even though whatever, that's the beauty of America. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I even support that, even though I don't agree with you. But the way these activists went about, where you block a highway, you're not only putting your life at risk, but the risk of all those people that were on the highway. And I watched.
How did they block? Were they blocking it with vehicles or bodies?
Their bodies.
Oh my goodness.
They walked into the traffic, and the traffic came to a halt. And you see this, obviously, however many miles it ended up being. And this one woman who was trying to get to a job interview, like saying, hey, like I get it, but I'm trying to get to a job interview. Or the person that was on their way to the hospital who had a medical procedure. That really irritates me.
I can see why.
Just unbelievable. Protest, absolutely. If you feel that you need to protest, that is your right to do so. Do it in a calm, effective manner where you are not affecting literally thousands of lives that you put in danger. So that really irritated the crap out of me. The other probably PSA, which I think is probably more controversial. Brittany Griner.
Yes.
Although I may not understand, although I may not get, and I freely state that because I don't know it all. I don't understand the trans thing that is happening. But what I find appalling is women not supporting women because males are trans. Well, I guess the correct terminology is a trans woman who is a biological male.
Do we know that though? Do we know that, or is that just a myth?
Well, apparently,
from what I understood, she is a female.
Well, yes, Brittany Griner is a female, but her statement that she came out with said that she does not support the boycott, or whatever you want to call it, or what's going on, that everybody is alarmed that trans females who are biological males are competing in women's sports. She does not, she thinks that the trans should be able to compete.
And that, again, that's, we know that many people that are in the limelight utilize their platform for their own particular causes. So I'm not shocked, I'm not surprised. I know there was chatter about when she, after she broke the law, was imprisoned. And I don't find her stance, I don't agree with it, but I don't find it alarming, in the sense of a lot of people in the news, or like I said, have a large platform, utilize their platform for things that they're passionate about. So I don't have an issue about that. On the flip side of that, I didn't see her whole message. I only saw a very snippet of it. So like I said, I try not to watch the news, and then being obviously in a Benadryl coma, am I even taking anything in? But one thing I have to say for her is I was obviously very upset of her stance about America, about our country. And I know there was a lot of backlash because she did break the law. So we want to make sure that people understand she was arrested for a reason. She did break the law. And if God gave her the grace to discern while she was imprisoned, to appreciate our country more, to understand the value of freedom, I saw a little, like I said, a little piece, and I did see that in her eyes. I take pride in believing that I have a kind of a good, even under Benadryl coma, I can sense when somebody's humble. And I was grateful that she, along with her team, is deciding to do a coalition to help those that are out of the country that are imprisoned. So I'm glad she's using her platform for that. I'm glad that she's giving the warning of what countries. Now, obviously, with the NBA, WNBA, or well, it's women's basketball, WBA, whatever the acronym is, because when they travel more outside of our country because that's how they make more money, because they don't get paid as much as they feel they should and or deserve. So I'm not arguing that point. They go overseas to have their games. And she and her team are going to be advocates. I'm really warning others when competing in different countries. And at the same time, she recognizes that she broke the law. So for that piece, I'm grateful. I think when someone changes their outlook on things because they're forced to look at it differently. And I think she had a lot of time to think being in prison for as long as she was. And if that was good that she received that grace from God and our Lord to humble herself, I think that's a great thing. I think, maybe her outlook is different. And if that's, and I always believe that these, like we always talk about, the story behind the story, there's always a reason why we're put on the path, why our journey takes a derailment, an obstacle, a new direction. And I think it was necessary for her that she be enlightened about the importance of being a U.S. citizen and not to take it for granted. So if that's the good that comes out of it, that's great. Will she be perfect on what she is championing? Maybe, maybe not. The whole transgender conversation is a tough one, just like sex education is a tough one, just like choice of different things, abortion, not, have an abortion, have, pro-life. We're all faced with different things that, if you want to look at it, is a coin. And there's two sides to the coin. And we hope that people, because all these things really do come up in a variety of situations, especially with students, that the key piece is that the parent wants the right to know when to tell their child whatever. So they do all these different subject matters impact our well-being, they impact our healthy mindset, they impact, they add stress to our lives, they add goodness to our lives. But I think I did see some grace in her, in her speech. So I was very glad for that. No, I don't agree with her using her platform to further push an agenda. But again, she has the right to do that. We are blessed that we live in, we are blessed that we live in a country that allows us to do that. So yeah, for me, since we're kind of sort of on the subject of transgender, what I do know is I can't imagine any parent having to do it. I'm looking at it from two perspectives. Any parent having to have that conversation with their child that is suffering from, and it's a real illness, dysphoria, gender dysphoria is a real condition. And I think we would be amiss to not interject that piece to it.
Right.
At the same time, there are certain things that are age appropriate and or parental rights that they have to contend with. Parents want the ability to parent their child whatever way you want to, and certain subject matters, they want to be the ones to kind of introduce that to the child or have that conversation with them. Just like the old-fashioned sex education, like back in the day. Like we were brought up at a time where a lot of those conversations didn't happen. I remember when I started getting my cycle, mommy just threw a box of pads, say, here you go. No explanation, nothing, because those were kind of subject matters that when I look back then to where we are now, like your parent was a kind of awkward to talk to about it. Never mind having a stranger, and a teacher, to some regards, is there to teach the basic subject matters, but so many other things are interjected. So I believe that because there's this push on equity, and there's this push on inclusiveness, there are pieces of that are good. But in my opinion, there's pieces that interfere with a parental's right to have those conversations. And I think parents' rights matter. Now, as an adult, when you are at that sound mind, sure, you're going to make those choices for yourself. So I have no problem with whatever floats your boat. But I'm not going to disregard the medical piece that there is a medical condition that is called gender dysphoria. And why is that? Is it, and I think where I go with that is, if someone's really pushing to, okay, this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to take these hormones to kind of make it happen. Tells me, well, is it unlikely, or why is it not on the subject to say, you know what, maybe I'm lowered in the hormones that my body naturally produces. Maybe I'm low in estrogen. Why wouldn't someone, and I don't hear anyone talking about that piece, you're willing to take the opposite hormone or other things to change you. But if you have a deficiency, and we do know that gender dysphoria is real, why aren't we supplementing that person or child with the natural hormones they should have? And no one talks about that piece to it. So to me, that's kind of puzzling before you go to that drastic, because there's too many that are now coming out that have started the process or are further along that totally regret it. That, what was I thinking? Why didn't my parents push harder against it? So you have to recognize those people too, that they're people that probably, and they're coming out to say that they suffered gender dysphoria and kind of jumped on this bandwagon and now regret it. So you can't deny those people either. What are you going to say? Okay, they were in our corner, they were in our camp, they were go-getters of doing this, but now you're going to shun them because now they realize, oops, I made a mistake. And this is not an oops, I made a mistake. This is life-changing decisions that you can never get back. Like once you make that commitment, if you're a female now becoming a male, and don't let those that are influencing you, because the big thing is a lot of quote transgenders that are going from male to female never go through any change. They still all have their female parts, and now they're pregnant, and now they're passing it off that a man can get pregnant. That is an out and out lie. It's biologically and scientifically impossible. So you get into all these different pockets of this conversation, and it's a hard conversation. But again, I'm a true believer that it is a condition. Seek medical help for sure, and don't jump into things that are life-changing that you're going to regret, that you can never, ever take back. It's a hard conversation. I feel for anyone that is dealing with a child, yet is sort of feeling those things. Once you're an adult, do I still agree with it? I'm a type of person that believes that I'm not walking in that person's shoes, so I'm not going to judge their decision because it's not up for me to make, to make that call. And that's kind of how it would be something that I would advocate. No, I would not. But that does not that does not mean I don't have empathy for that person that's struggling with their identity. I do. I have a lot of empathy. I can't imagine what it's like to be in their shoes. And I think the world's got to be less judgmental and more empathetic, that, that there is a mental piece to this, as well as an actual disorder to it. And if you throw those out the window, then you're really not being true to yourself as a human being. Never mind what sex you are or what sex you identify with. You have to be true to yourself as a human being to allow yourself, before I jump ship from the way I was born, have I done my own due diligence, like we're talking about, to know this is a step I'm going to take, because it's a huge, there's some huge consequences with it. And that's kind of how we got sidetracked to that subject.
No, definitely. It's a huge conversation, and a conversation I can't even imagine that, some people have to go through. We don't know it all. We're trying to, I guess, understand it to a certain degree, but I think I have to agree with you when you said there's so many different pockets of it that, things that haven't come up that, okay, what's going on with this? So you bring up some really valid points. The other great thing I want to talk about is the NFL draft. And of course, one thing about the NFL draft yesterday, which I watched over and over again, I can't even tell you how many times, was the little boy from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I misplaced my note, but I believe it was for the New York Jets, who did such an awesome job in announcing the Jets pick for that different moment. And again, I could be wrong about the pick. I wrote it down and moved some papers around, so I don't have it.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things happening. Again, it's just one of those, you're seeing dreams come to life, that these athletes have worked extremely hard it's not to make it to even, that draft, that lineup of a possibility of a dream coming true because you worked hard on your athleticism and your workouts and your whatever position you were playing. So it's an exciting time for these young athletes. Very, very, I was pretty excited. Patriots got It's not a wide receiver. I think it's a running back. I can't remember, but anyway, it was a pick from Oregon. And I want to say he went in the first round and pick number 17. Great career, great presence on the field. So he's going to be a great addition to the New England Patriots. So I'm excited about that. I will only watch again a smidgen of that because again, when you are like drowsy, you're taking in, you're just like, it's like everything's fog. So today I'm focusing, I've got a list because today is Fantabulous Friday. This is the day that we celebrate our wins. So when you're in a fog all week, your wins probably wouldn't be on your top 10. So to get up and make the bed, woo woo, pat on the back to me. Dipping into the 120s on the scale, woo woo, that's a big win for me. And really just trying to not let how incredibly foggy I feel totally take over me, that I'm not productive in some way or manner. And when I talk about production, I think we can all relate to, you have those days where you're exhausted, right? Mm-hmm. It's an effort to go brush your teeth. It's an effort to eat. It's an effort to get out of the bed. And we're, this is now, let's see, today is what, Friday. So this is officially my 8th day of feeling this kind of like groggy because it started last Friday where I had to take my first Benadryl. What I pushed myself through, I can't imagine that person that does do this on the daily. I've only been doing it for 8 days, but there are a lot of people out there that don't have the energy, that don't have the momentum, whether it's because they're dealing with an illness, whether it's, an allergic reaction like I am, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever it may be. I understand, I don't understand fully, but I certainly can appreciate how much you have to really push yourself through in order to just get to the next step. And again, the next step could be just getting out of bed. That next step could be making the bed, making yourself a meal. So for all those that do suffer like that continuously, you find your blessings. You find those little celebrations, because those little celebrations of you patting yourself on the back is going to push you even further. And yeah, today may not be your most productive day, but make it as productive as you can, because you're going to feel better about like, okay, I just didn't lie on the couch the entire day. I had to lie there pretty much all the day, but I still got up. Maybe I folded a load of laundry. Maybe I put the clothes in the washing machine and press start. All these little things that we take for granted that we do on the daily that we don't even think about. And then when you're forced into realizing, and you absolutely know that these things are not a big deal, but because of the way you're feeling, they're like, oh my God, can I climb that mountain? Can I get out of bed enough to go get the dirty laundry, to put it in the washing machine, to pick up the jug? I mean, these are all stupid things when you think about it, but they're for a lot of people, these are things that we take for granted that you just naturally do. So I've had to overcome a lot of that. I've had a busy week with our homeowners association. I've had a very busy week with that. Weird things that I had to tend to by email and be on Zooms, be on phone calls, legal phone calls, like all the stuff while I'm under a fog. So I'm patting myself on the back. I had a good, 24, I had almost 32 hours without taking one Benadryl. That's a plus. But sadly, last night around 11:50, I couldn't take the itching anymore. And literally my eyes, I could feel them swelling again, and just, the drip, drip. And I said, in order for me to combat that, I have to take another Benadryl. Is the only, and obviously the sad side effect is drowsy. Is the drowsy worth not itching? Absolutely. So I'm grateful that I'm taking the turn, even though it's not as tight, not as sharp as I would like it to be. I am taking a turn. So that's what I'm celebrating. How about you, Jim?
Well, and by the way, I just want to add to that. I would say that that is flipping amazing. And I'll tell you why. Despite all of that, I would say you had many thriving moments.
I did. And speaking of that, we've got to share this. A lot of people have been noticing, that we've been introducing new products. We've been, really excited about what's to come. I'm going to do, hopefully we'll get getting some shipments in today and tomorrow, and I'll do an unboxing. But if you have had the least bit of interest and said, I think I gotta give myself time. I gotta give my body what it deserves, and I want to feel the best I can be, the best version of myself. This weekend, the company is doing a great promo, and we will put the banner under our TwoSistas under the show notes, as well as posted on our Facebook page. They're doing a certain, if you get certain total amount, if you decided you want to jump in on the Thrive experience, they're giving different rebates, different credits that can be used and for next month, but they can, you can actually buy all the new items that we've been talking about. And then now you got this credit, $50 credit or $100 credit that you can use towards next month. So I believe it's my rebate, but we'll make sure that the banner is posted there, because so many people have been, on the fence. And I said, look at, when your time comes, you'll know. Well, here we go. We got a rebate going on for this weekend only. So it does expire 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So we'll post that up.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's really important. I think I have many things to celebrate, but one kind of funny thing that happened to me this morning that I'm kind of proud of myself for. It's kind of funny when you really think about it. So I had my jacket on because I was running out real quick this morning, and I had to walk in my office real quick to grab something. So I walk in, and then how you like get stuck on something. Well, somehow or another, and again, I don't know how I did it, the left side of my little jacket thing got entangled in the door handle. And it's
boy.
a whirly twirly handle. And then the little strings or whatever, and you can tie it in the front. I normally don't do that, but the strings got kind of meshed in it as well. I'm like, oh, I'm stuck. Now this has happened before, probably about 2 other times. And I'm like, okay, my phone's upstairs. How am I going to get out of this one? And Gary wasn't here. But anyways, I was able to wiggle out of it. And, of course, my jacket was there for a while, and Gary came home, and I said, oh, by the way, you need to untangle my jacket. And he said, of course, what happened? So I, told him, what had happened. So I'm kind of celebrating that I was my own little Houdini and was able to get out. And so that's something to celebrate, and I kind of laughed.
Absolutely. You weren't like chained like a dog to a post.
I was like, I looked down.
I
And
don't know, no one does that. Don't be chaining your dog to a post. But
no, don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. So definitely that was something fantabulous to celebrate. Hopefully it won't happen again.
I know, that's especially like you say, like, who's going to help me out of this? So, and just that awkwardness of trying to get out of it when you're tied to it.
Yeah.
Tangled into it. That's crazy. I think that's funny. Well, we want to know what you are celebrating. We talk about the little wins. They're all important. They're all little stepping stones that are going to get closer to whatever that goal it is. Maybe it's you want to be productive like I do. Like you just don't want to be late on the couch because you're just too tired to do anything. Find your groove. Find something to inspire you that's going to push you through those moments where you feel like you're going to give up. You feel like you're going to give in, and you will feel better. It may not still change the outcome of how you feel as a whole, but you're going to feel proud that you push yourself through that. And that's what we want. That's what Fantabulous Friday is all about, is knowing that despite the odds, despite the obstacles, despite how you felt, that you pushed through enough to get to the other side of something. And we want you to pat yourself on the back for that. So much is going on, so many good things coming up. We got some great, amazing guests coming up. We're now entering in, April showers, bring May flowers. The other alert I got this morning, which this is a sidebar, apparently we do have, because everyone always asks me, we have these small retention ponds. The original developer, they do have lake names, but they're small retention ponds. And I always get this question, do you have any alligators in your, and apparently we do have a baby alligator that is about 2.5 feet. I am personally not seeing them. Someone submitted a picture to one of our board members. So apparently we got a little baby in I believe it's the big lake, big pond. So not the pond that's directly adjacent to my home, but I believe in the bigger community. So
Gator watch on Vero Beach,
right. It's
Florida, right?
It's bound to happen, especially where we've had such a drought. A lot of these ponds connect by different piping to different communities. So it's bound to happen. So apparently it's, but they don't trap them. So, and I love the fact that even I got to learn something new today. They do not trap an alligator unless it's at least 5 feet. So this one's only about 2.5 feet. They don't really know. Our manager of our management company is going to come out and take a look. I don't know whether they'll actually see it, but I guess he came close enough to shore to somebody snapped a picture of it. So it's a baby one, 2.5 feet long.
We should come up with a name for the baby gator.
Yeah, I know. Baby.
Baby. And on that note, as my sister said, we hope you have an amazing, fantabulous Friday. We will be back, obviously, on Monday with our guest Terry at 8 a.m. for Mindset Monday. Don't miss it. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I'm with TwoSistas,
and this is Carol Sue, aka a naughty boss. Despite being in my little cloud world, I'm going to make sure that I'm productive in one way or another, and we hope you do the same. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.